Part 2, Secrets That Only Your Web Guy Knows. Presented to you by backlinks.com. Now you may be wondering, how did part 1 actually apply to you and your website? Let's see a real-life example that might be relevant to you. Say for instance that you have a website dedicated to skincare products. Now please note that the following examples are for demonstration purposes only, not meant to intend that the following sites are associated with or in any way related to backlinks.com or its products or services. Now the first step is to find out how many people are searching for the term skincare products. If a lot of people are searching for this term, then it may be too competitive for us to rank highly for the term. On the other hand, if nobody is searching for this term, then it won't do us any good even if we rank number 1 for it. So let's determine if skincare products is a good search term. Now there are many keyword selector tools on the internet, but the one I prefer is the Google AdWords keyword tool. You can do a Google search for keyword tool, and as you can see, it comes up number 1 here. So I'm going to click on that, or you can highlight the URL and bookmark this also. So I'm going to click on this tool, then I'm going to type in my term that I'm going to research out, which is skincare products. Type in this little code here and get keyword ideas. Now the first thing I like to do is click on approximate average search volume. That way it will search from the greatest number to the lowest number. Now as you can see here, skincare products had over 1.2 million searches per month. I think Google typically averages out the 12-month search volume for these. So as you can see, that's a really competitive term. Typically anything over 50,000 searches is a pretty good search term. So let's see just how competitive the term skincare products is. So I'm going to go over to Google and I'm going to do a search for skincare products. Now as you can see, the top 2 sites that come up are skinenergizer.com and skincarerx.com. As we talked about before, one of the most important things is to have title tags with your search term, also headings, and also to have part of the search term at least in your URL, and you can see both of these top sites have that. Now let's find out how the third factor comes into play, actually how many inlinks each of these sites have. So I'm going to go to yahoo.com. I'm going to do a search for link domain, and then paste in my URL, and then click web search. I'm also going to click accept from this domain, and only this URL. Now as you can see, this site, skinenergizer.com, over 9,000 other websites have a link to skinenergizer.com. So as you can see, that's a really competitive term, and that's a lot of websites pointing to skinenergizer.com, which tells us this is, as we thought, a very competitive search term. So let's look at the number 2 site, skincarerx.com. So I'm going to go back to Google, highlight my URL, and copy it. Go back to the Yahoo Site Explorer tool. So I'm going to do a search for link domain, skincarerx.com. Again, I'm going to do accept from this domain and only this URL. So as you can see, skincarerx.com has over 1,000 websites pointing to them, which is still a very competitive number of sites pointing to their website. So let's find another keyword that we might be able to rank for. Again, we're going to go back to our Google AdWords keyword tool. Now all of these top selections have skincare products somewhere in their URL or in their search term. So it'd still be really difficult to rank for any of these types of keywords. So let's go down to the second set that Google gives us as suggestions. Now I typically find that search terms within the 50,000 to 100,000 per month range are good search terms. They're typically not quite as competitive, although you can sometimes find some search terms that still get a lot of searches but are not as competitive. Now I'm going to try personal care products because it doesn't have skin anywhere in it, or skincare products as the total search term. So let's do a Google search for personal care products and see how many people are, what the top two sites that come up for this are. So as you can see, personalcareproducts.org is the #1 site. Now that helps because they have their entire search term is part of their URL, and again they have that as their title tags also, and as their headers. So let's see how many inlinks personalcareproducts.org has coming into their site. And if you remember, the #1 term for skincare products had over 9,000 links coming into their site. I'm going to do accept from this domain and only this URL. Now you can see this site only has 6 inlinks, which is a lot less than 9,000. And let's see what the #2 site has. Again, I'm going to do accept from this domain and only this URL. So as you can see, the #2 site has over 1,000 inlinks, which is still quite a bit and would be difficult to compete with. So you can see when having the entire search term in your URL definitely helps your website. Let's try another site on the front page for personal care products and see how many inlinks that site has. Let's try this walmart.com. I'm going to highlight the entire URL and do a copy. You might be thinking, well, I can't compete with walmart.com. Well, you don't need to compete with the entire website. You just need to compete with the page that's related to personal care products. So let's see how many this specific page has coming into it, how many inlinks. And again, I'm going to do accept from this domain. And you can see this page has 181 inlinks coming into it. So what does all this tell us? It tells us that we have a much better chance at getting our site on the front page of Google for the term personal care products than we do of getting our site on the front page for skincare products. Again, there are hundreds of factors that go into ranking a website, and ultimately Google is the one that decides who is on the front page for different search terms. Please contact us here at backlinks.com for a more in-depth analysis of your potential keywords.